Hey everyone, this is Matt with Highline Financial Coaching, and this is Walking the Financial Highline. Today, I picked a topic that is more near and dear to me. I always have a bike in the back of my videos, and there's a significant reason for that. Today, we're going to talk about cycling and finances and how cycling got me to be able to break free and create Highline Financial Coaching, because it is a major part of my story and part of the why and the reason why I created this company to help other people with their finances is because of cycling. So we just saw the Tour de France a couple weeks ago. The Olympics are on right now, and we saw incredible cycling. The U.S. women took the first gold in a long time, and then the Tour de France is always a huge cycling event that is so exciting to watch, with Tadej Pogačar taking that this year, and watching him and the fight that they had all the way to the finish. So a couple of years ago, it was actually during COVID, when all of us were cooped up in our house. We were trying to find something to do, and I decided to buy a bike. So I got online, found a decent starter road bike. I rode mountain bikes as a kid. I lived up in the mountains, so that was the only way that we'd get around, was on mountain bikes. But it had been years since I had gotten on a bike. I had wrecked pretty severely about 13 years ago and broke some ribs and had a concussion, and did that on a mountain bike. So I think that pushed me back a little bit. But I got this bike during COVID, and I remember the day I brought it home. Got it out, and rode around the neighborhood. And it's on the east side of our neighborhood. There's a little bit of a hill. It's not very steep. You'd laugh if you saw it. And I remember I climbed that hill on my bike, and by the time I got to the top, I could barely breathe. I thought I was going to pass out, and I was like, how on earth am I ever going to be able to ride my bike and keep up? This is crazy how difficult it is. And so I started riding a little bit. I took on some easy rides. One of my neighbors found out that I had bought a bike and was trying to get into it, and he invited me with a group of guys that rode. And so I showed up one day to ride with these guys, and I was in tennis shoes, gym shorts, t-shirt. At least I had a helmet on. That was about the only thing that looked like a biker and a cyclist that I had on. I showed up, and all these people were on really nice bikes. They were clipped in pedals. They had their shorts and their jerseys and gloves and everything that made them look legit. And I looked like some kid that just rolled out of bed and hopped on his bike and rode down there. So as I got there, I started sizing everybody up, and a lot of the guys there were much older than me. A lot of them were heavier than I was at the time. And so, of course, I sized them up, and I was like, hey, this is great. I should be able to keep up with them. And maybe I'll even beat them. And so that was the worst mistake I had made all day. 'Cause when we started riding, these guys were so fast on their bikes. For the first 3 miles, I could barely keep up with them. My heart was about to pop out of my chest because it was beating so hard. They totally smoked me. Absolutely smoked me on their bikes. We climbed this little 1% hill, and they were so far ahead of me. I gave it everything I had, and I couldn't even hold their wheel. And so, and I remember at that time, again, it was during COVID. We were working from home. I was working at this job. I had just started another corporate job. I was working for the company that I was an independent contractor for, and it was going okay. Things were falling into place. We were doing a lot of webinars and trying to keep everybody motivated, and I continued to ride my bike more. And a friend of mine texted me and said they had a bike if I wanted to buy it from them, and it was a nice bike about 10 years before. And so it was carbon fiber, and it was an upgrade for the bike that I was riding. It was a lot lighter. I got the jersey and the shoes, and I looked legit finally. And so I continued to ride and kept doing that over and over again. And about a year later, things weren't going as well at work. Things were more stressful. They were trying to get us to hit numbers that were just unreal and impossible. And it was weighing on me. So I really started cycling on those bad days. When I needed to get out, clear my mind, I'd get out on my bike and ride. Well, a friend of mine, I think this was in 2022, said, "Hey, there's a big race that we're going to do. Do you want to be part of it?" And I laughed because it was just this absurd race. It's actually called LOTOJA, which means Logan, Utah to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I was like, nobody's that dumb to get on a bike and ride it that long, because it takes anywhere from 10 to 13 hours to ride this ride. And then my friends talked me into it. I remember staring at the registration form and finally clicked the button to register. And it's a lottery system. So at first I was like, well, maybe I won't get in because of the lottery system. And then they let you know if you get in or not. And I got in, and that's when it hit. I was like, okay, now I got to pay for it. And so I paid for it. And that summer we had to train. We trained heavily, riding a lot of miles to be able to make this LOTOJA race. It's a 207-mile ride with about 8,000 feet of climb, and it's 3 different states. You go through Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming. And so you want to be in shape to be able to do that. And so all summer long, I busted my tail. And again, at work, anytime I had a stressful meeting, I'd go out, clear my brain on my bike, come back, and keep plugging along. And then the race came, and that race was so much fun. It was hard. It was the climbs. We plowed through it. We had 5 of us that were riding together, that were taking turns pulling each other. So when you ride your bike, the first person in the group is taking a lot of the wind. So the people behind them are able to relax a little. They don't have to pedal as hard. They don't have the same energy being expended. And so we did that with a group of 5 of us and had an incredible race. And when we got to the end of it, it was about 7:30 at night. We were at the Teton Village in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, right at the base of the Teton Mountains. And just an incredible ride. The feeling I got at the end was unlike anything I'd ever had in sports ever. And I played sports all through high school and had some incredible experiences, but nothing had felt as good as this. And I was at such a high. And it was this was on a Saturday night. Well, Monday morning, went back to work and had a meeting at work that just completely destroyed me. And I remember walking. It was a Zoom, and as soon as I turned off the camera, I just went, "What am I doing? Why am I doing this?" I said, I was at this high 2 days ago, and then today I'm at one of the lowest lows. And I had to get on my bike, and this was just a couple days after I had rode so many miles. And then a couple months later, my company sliced my pay. They cut my pay 60% over a 7-month period, and set up these huge expectations for goals. And at that point, I knew that I needed to leave. I was being pushed out, and I needed to leave. And I decided to create Highline Financial Coaching so that I could have those similar experiences that I had on that bike ride, those highs, and to be able to help others get to that point, with their business, with their personal finances, and to be able to show them how to succeed with their finances. That's something that I've been coaching people for the last 7.5 years, and it has been so enjoyable to get to that point. So that's how cycling and finance go together in my life. That's why you see my bike there. And a couple of those medals were to help remind me why I do what I do and why I continue to plug along. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more information about why there's a bike in all of my videos. A couple months ago, I didn't have it in there, and a friend of mine said, "You got your bike in your office, put it in the videos," because that's where I spend a lot of my time. And cycling is something that makes me, even last week, I decided to climb the mountain next to our house, which is an incredibly difficult climb. But that's my way to kind of burn steam and get into a better position and clear my mind out. Clear my mind so I get a lot more ideas on my bike than I do at any other point. So again, this is Matt with Highline Financial Coaching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe, like our videos. We have weekly videos with tips and tricks to how to better your finances. We also have personalized coaching if you're ready to take that leap. So again, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.